Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman, and today we're going to be talking about the Ryan Sakal Lasso. We did a great intro video on Ryan Sakal and bringing his boards into the Real Board Loft. So if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. Give some great background info on Ryan, on his surfing career as well as his shaping career, and also winning Best in Show at the recent Boardroom Show in Del Mar, California. I'm going to run you through the review on this board. I've had a really fun time surfing this here in Cape Hatteras as well as in California at Ventura Point and C Street. So we'll get into those sessions and talk a little bit about the performance of this board. So the lasso that I have here, which is the board that I was surfing, is 7.2, 21.5, 2 3/4, 46.46 liters. All the lassos are set up as a 2+1 fin setup. The fins that I used on this board are the Werner NVS 2+1 fin setup. So this is a great fin setup for a lot of these 2+1 mid lengths, because rather than being like, oh, which center fin do I get, which side bites do I get, this comes as like a kit, like as a built out 3-fin set. And so it's a 7-inch center fin and 3.7-inch side bites, and it is G10 construction, so it's a compressed construction with more fiberglass layers per inch of thickness of fin, and so it allows the fins to be foiled thinner since there's more layers of fiberglass. So thinner is faster since there's less resistance, and they're also quite a bit stronger than standard fins as well with that G10 construction. So faster, super accurate foil, and stronger as well. So that's the fin setup that I have, and you can also see with these two little marks right here, I got like two little Mr. Sharpie marks here, like fooling around with fin placement. You can see the first place that I threw the fin, that was really maneuverable, but it felt like I needed a little bit more drive, so I tapped it back a little bit, and you can see that second fin mark, and that's about where I ended up on just a good all-around performance. If I was ever riding the thing and like really throttling bigger surf and super hollow, I'd be able to like move it a little bit further back, maybe that much again, but that's about the range on the 2+1. So let's talk about performance of this board. So we've been talking a lot about mid-lengths, and we've been talking a lot about the variety of performance that you can get in the mid-length. So this mid-length is designed as a 2+1 with a performance rail, concave bottom, and it's meant to be sailed. Sailed? Maybe I don't see any mast track in this thing. No, rewind this a little bit. No, actually, rewinding is this way. Okay, it's meant to be surfed as off the tail of the board. So not as much, you can be riding it off the middle of the board. It does ride off the middle of the board, but where this thing really lights up is when you step back on the board and start riding it off the tail. And really, whether you're driving off the tail or turning off the tail or backside snapping off the tail, that's where this thing really starts to go. And we talked about those differences when we compared the Werner Tree Hugger to the Werner Roadster, and the Roadster was more of an off the tail kind of board. This is that same type of board, the Lasso. So talking about this board, very first session was out. Actually, very first sessions were here on a really nice lined up day at the Lighthouse, which is front side for me, all lefts. And board paddles really well, gets into the wave easy, really good, confident board on late drops, or kind of even like diagonal drops, which you're doing a lot at the Lighthouse, into the wave. And good projection on the turns, nice confident feel like when you're getting barreled on the thing, and good wave count as well. So obviously all things you want in your mid-length. A lot of times on that board, if it's waves like that, mid-lengths can feel like a little bit long, and they can feel sometimes even a little bit slow. This board didn't have either of those two feelings. Felt really confident, felt fast, and was putting you in the right place at the right time. So I was psyched, like right out of the blocks, to get some good waves on this board. Next session, flew over, like kind of go fast forward, flew to California. Had so much fun on this board, and I saw a run of waves while I was in California. So I was like, hey, I got to take this board. And then also Ryan's model called the Saber. Took these to California and got some great sessions out there as well. You know, at Ventura Point, at C Street, and then also actually some surprise late season Rincon as well. And there, the thing that blew me away on this board, you know, one was on a bigger day, like I lucked into like a good kind of end of May swell, and you know, set waves. This thing was just all over the lineup and like tracking down like really good set waves, and the turning on the thing, like the backside bottom turns, and then the turns that you could do off the top were not, in my opinion, like they were kind of beyond mid-length. Like they felt way more performance than a standard mid-length, and especially like what you could do off the top, like the ability to like kind of snap a board like this off the top rather than just kind of carve it, or you know, kind of high line it and then come back down the wave. Like you could actually put a proper turn at the top of the wave, which I was really impressed with, and the fact that I was out there for a good swell and got in a good rhythm and was able to get like a good number of waves and just kind of explore that that feeling and performance. I was really psyched on this board. You know, really good turns, really good projection off the bottom, like when there was some size in the wave, and then also really good speed down the line to make sections that that weren't makeable, like pro level shortboarder, they were makeable, but like recreational, like kind of upper intermediate, they weren't makeable on shortboards. But on this, like you're getting in early, you're generating speed, and you're making sections that you can't make on a shortboard. So really impressive performance there. You know, as that wave goes further down the point, like it continues to lose power and like kind of lose steepness, so you can kind of shift up and down that point and find different sections of that wave to just kind of like test what the board's going to do like in softer, smaller conditions. And I definitely thought like the board still handles the soft stuff. It's got a, even when it gets down to the dribble, having the 2+1 gives you the ability to like kind of drive off that center fin to create speed, but then also like pivot it and keep it like in that tight little power zone of the wave, the pocket of the wave, to keep you going. So that was impressive as well, all the way into the parking lot up at the point, like where you could literally just be trimming it and like forward on the board and just sort of gliding along, and it would work well. Like in the center of the point, like kind of halfway down to the point, like halfway down to the pier, there's some good lefts that kind of come in against the grain, and that the lefts are front side for me, and so that was super fun to like really drive this thing on front side bottom turns and wrap it back in, and that same kind of off the tail feel that you feel off the top going backside, you can also feel it like wrapping when you're wrapping the board back into the pocket front side. So really good performance and impressive. The one thing that I noticed on this board, like compared to let's say like something less down rail, let's say something like a Christensen Huntsman, is that this board has like definitely has a lot of power, like in this section of the board, like right here to here. And so with that being said, like I think this thing, like sizing it, you don't want to like super size it, like you want to size it for performance, you know, like, so, you know, this is a 7.2, like I really like this size for my weight, like 200 pounds, like 7.0 would also be really good, or even 6'10", but I wouldn't want to ride this as much, like really big, because I think that down rail is going to start to overpower the board and just create a little bit too much lift. But in this range, it felt really good. So, and that's really the difference, like when you start talking about down, bringing it down, and then also pairing it with concaves, like you're getting a lot of lift between those two things versus having it be flat, V, or even belly, and then also having the rail come up from the bottom, like rolling this way and also rolling this way, so like a double, like almost like an egged out rail. That's going to be a little bit more neutral, where this rail and the concaves create more power. So you have to keep an eye on the sizing, would be my tip there. But I was like I said, I was really impressed. Even with this one kind of being on the bigger side of like kind of what I would ride, you know, like this 7.2. You know, into the small stuff, it still goes. But you could definitely tell it likes a bit of juice. So I mean, even like when you got into the super tiny inside stuff, it would still kind of glide along or trim along, and you can and you can go on those insiders as well. I even had a few opportunities to ride it all the way down at the end of the point, and it worked there. And it worked there as well, and that's like typically reserved for like logs and stuff and gliders at the end of that wave. So that's where it gets the slopiest and the smallest. So it's the Ryan Sakal Lasso. I'm stoked on this board. Like it definitely performs well, and it was the turning potential and the speed, like on that session, that first morning session out there in Ventura was definitely an eye opener. Yeah, I'm definitely psyched to keep surfing it, and then also recommending it. I think people that are looking for this style of a mid-length to get like kind of more turning in and have a little bit more performance in their mid-length, they're going to be really excited about it. All of these boards are made at the Christensen Moonlight factory, so you know like the quality of the blanks and the glassing and the airbrushes or the tints, like basically anything that's coming out of Moonlight. If you want to go custom, we can get it put on these. Also, all of the stock boards are coming out of Moonlight as well, and so those are whether it be the airbrushes or the tints or the gloss and polishes, they're all available on the Ryan Sakals as well. Just to give you a nice one, you know the quality of the glassing is going to be as good as you can possibly get, but also you know, if you want to go with any of the higher end like airbrushes or tints and the polishes, you can get that as well. The Ryan Sakal Lasso, available 6'6" up. We have them in stock up to 7'6", and you can order larger than that as well. Any questions on the Lasso, you can always give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.